Welcome to Sonnia Spotlight. In this video, I sit down with Gary Whitaker, aka Coach G and owner of Plant-Based Fitness Gym. He's dropping knowledge on how he's helping people live longer with nutrition, fitness, and gourmet meal plans. Be sure to use the code It's Vegan Yo when placing your orders so Gary knows I sent you. Hey Gary, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate your time.
Definitely. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those who don't know, maybe Gary, you can give a quick introduction of yourself, who you are, where you're located, and what you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Coach G. I'm the owner of Plant-Based Fitness here in Oakland, California, and I help people transform their minds and bodies so they can feel vibrant and young again.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so on an earlier phone call, you were talking about how you're working on your PhD as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it was an interesting thing because I've been studying nutrition since 2006. And for me, I just became really, really fascinated with it. So it was kind of an easy thing when I was looking for like higher education,
Yeah.
to kind of get the knowledge, because I noticed that a lot of people, they tend to listen to people that have the credential doctor. And
Right.
so, you know what I mean? And sometimes that information might not be the best information for that person, you know what I mean? And so I was like, if I'm gonna be able to affect the lives of people, I gotta play the same game. So, that's why I just decided to become a PhD in holistic health sports nutrition.
Nice.
And, it's a lot of things that you learn. It's a lot of things that I'm still learning. And, it just, for me, I'm just passionate about it. I'm passionate about seeing people healthy. I'm passionate about seeing people live long. So, that's kind of why I got into that type of study.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. And so, and I like the way that you mentioned that you like to see people live long, because really, like, we talk about fitness and everything in like in short term sometimes,
Yeah.
and to get the quick results, but it's really, a lifelong thing.
Yeah.
And so one of the interviews that I saw you had, I think it was a podcast, and you were talking about how you also do some mindset training. Can
Yeah.
you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, mindset training to the human brain is like a computer program is to a computer.
Yeah.
So, if we want to achieve something, we have to have the proper mindset, which is the thought frequency, what I mean, to bring that thing toward us. And I think that the more that we, the mind is a muscle too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the more that we flex that muscle, the more confident we become, the more that we can achieve things that we set out to do. And like, even as that goes into my personal life, like for me, like, I'll embark on training courses that have a certain period of time to do them, and I'll complete them just to show myself like, hey, you can complete it. So like right now I'm doing this program called Simple and Sinister. It's like 30 days working with kettlebell, and it's no rest. And this is new for
Oh,
me because I've never did anything with no rest. I usually always have rest days.
yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? Like for me, it's a challenge to be able to be like, okay, cool, you can do this and you can complete this.
Hmm.
And then I know that whatever I try to set my mind to, I
Yeah.
can achieve it. Because a lot of times people, they say they want this body, but they don't have the mind to help them achieve that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, because you still got the old thoughts that's keeping you where you are. And
Hmm.
the one thing that I know about, even, from just personally transforming my own body,
Yeah.
is I have to think differently.
Right.
You got to think outside of the box of what you normally do. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? And I think that my years of being a trainer have kind of like, I've helped so many people. Like, you can see those ones in the back on my wall. Probably can't see the pictures, but those are just all people that I've helped to transform their body. Some
Nice.
people lost 12 pounds, some people lost 60 pounds.
Wow.
But I learned something during that process of like what needs to happen from doing it on so many people. And
Mhm.
so for me, that's why whenever I work with anybody, like your mindset has to be right. Now, if you just a couple steps away and we could get you to that point,
Yeah.
that's cool. But if not, sometimes things aren't right for people at that time. So,
Yeah.
that's how it works
Yeah.
with mindset.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that, like you said, it goes with everything, right? Your mindset, it really just drives and controls everything that you do. Let's talk a little bit about your vegan journey. So how long have you been vegan and what brought you there?
Well, I've been vegan for 11 years now.
Wow.
Um, for me, you know what it was? It was just the desire to like, I seen a lot of death early in my family. You know what I mean? Like my grandma, she died at like 58. Um, my grandma on my dad's side died of colorectal cancer, which is pretty interesting. Um, and I just started thinking about how long I wanted to live.
Yeah.
Because I'm under the concept of believe, conceive, achieve.
Hmm.
And so I started thinking like, okay, cool. And then I started looking at all the people, and then I started finding people that was living to like 170, 150,
Yeah.
250, you know what I'm saying, 120. You know what I'm saying? It was just all these numbers, and I just started rewinding their life. I'm like, wow, what did they start doing earlier that made it possible? And I was probably like about 20. Like when I started having these thoughts, I was around 25.
Okay.
When I made the actual transition, I was like 27, 28. And
Hmm.
so I was kind of reaching that 30 mark.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? It was that point where I was like, okay, I need to do something differently if I want to increase my chances of living longer.
Yeah.
And so I kind of went in it cold turkey because for me, once my mind is made up, I don't need to like baby step myself. But I did do certain things like I cut out dairy, and then I cut out eggs,
Yeah.
and then from that point, then I cut out fish, and then I was just completely vegan at that point in time. And yeah, and it's all now. Don't get me wrong. It's when you first do it and you don't know what you're doing.
Hmm.
It was a point in time where I was just grinding up a bunch of vegetables in a blender and drinking it.
Yeah.
And it's like you learn, but I always say like this, like just how fitness is a journey,
Hmm.
nutrition is a journey.
Yeah.
And the thing about nutrition being a journey is that every part of your life, your nutrition has to change. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
your system gets older. As your system gets older and it matures, depending on how well you took care of it in the first quarter, it might not be able to hold up. And you might have to make some modifications. And so, I say that to say like there's a lot of people that still eat the same way
Right.
that they did when they were 20, and they're now in their early to late 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
just don't work like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. And as someone who's also past her 40s, I know that there are certain things you can't eat in your 20s, in your
Yeah.
40s. So
Hey, and that's also that your whole system changed. You used to be able to, and I think that's why also too, I believe in teaching this knowledge early,
mm,
because imagine what type of advantage you would have if you knew this information as a 10-year-old.
hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's game. That's leveling your game up.
Yeah.
And I think that that's how you make the change and you make the impact. You know what I mean? Because I realize that oftentimes it's not the kids.
Yeah.
It's the adults with their ways that want to stay stuck in their ways, that want to stop the kids from getting it. Because I was in a after school program in East Oakland,
Hmm.
and I was feeding kids raw pasta, just nothing cooked, all just raw,
Yeah.
and it had the little marinara and everything, but they was tearing it up. They was like, "Brother Gary, can I get some more?" And then that's when my light bulb went off. I was like, "It ain't the kids."
Hmm.
Most people blame the kids. My kids won't eat this. I'm like, nah, it's you.
Yeah.
You have to. Kids don't listen to what you say. They watch what you do.
That's right. That's that's absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what you're doing with your training and all that goes hand in hand with what you're currently doing is meal preps, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I actually saw the menu, and I'll probably pop it up here so that way people can
Okay.
see the latest menu.
Yeah, that's what's up.
That's not your average meal prep menu
Uh-oh.
items. It's like primo, like
Yeah.
gourmet stuff, right? So
Right.
talk
Right.
about that. Let's talk about that. Talk about
Okay.
how you got into it. Tell us about
Yeah.
it.
For
Hmm.
sure. So what happened was, like, okay, I always like to, uh, think about diabolical ways to help people change. You know what I'm saying? And so that was my diabolical scheme, was like, okay, cool. I could tell people what to do. I could help people. I could help you exercise, and I could let you control your food, and you'll still get results if you're doing what I'm telling you to do. Or I could control your exercise and your food together and get you even more results because you're doing that. But it started off with a necessity for myself. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, cool. So I was with one of my co-owners. I was just preparing meals, preparing meals. And then we start doing menus, we start shopping for stuff. You know what I'm saying? But this was all of a way to kind of like keep our costs down. You know what I'm saying? Because like, when you shop together, you usually save a little bit more money. So that's kind of what we were doing. And we created a whole bunch of stuff, and our food was good. You know what I'm saying? And then it was to the point where like you enjoy every meal. You know what I mean? Like you were looking forward to each meal.
Yeah.
You know? And so after that, I was like, yo, let me try to launch this meal prep business. So we did it for about a good little 8 weeks, and it was definitely I didn't have any days off, so I was working pretty much 7 days a week for 8 weeks in a row. And I don't know if anybody that's listening to this could attest to that. That would be kind of difficult. Like, and even though you passionate about it, but burnout is real. And so it got to a point where we had a good little test pilot. It was dope. We had a good response from it. We did about like maybe like 800 or 900 meals, which is a decent amount of meals, because it's like, it's labor that goes into that. And that's what, most people don't really factor in, is that the labor portion of what goes into meal prep. You got to shop for it. You got to source it properly. You know what I'm saying? Everything ain't going to look pretty. Some things, and then on top of that, you got to have an expert to prepare it. So, that's when I've been in my cousin's ear for like, maybe about 3 years. He came out here a couple times, and I was just like, cuzzo, we need to do this meal prep. And, and then he'll be out there doing this thing. He was in Atlanta. He'll be out there doing this thing. You know what I'm saying? Then he hit me up and be like, all right. And then we just didn't connect for about a couple years. And then the prime opportunity happened recently when this whole coronavirus stuff happened. And then I was just like, man, come out here. And so, I just got him a ticket. He came out here. We've been grinding ever since. And, and then on top of that too, like, when you want to do things, you got to get the experts. And, anybody that has 20 years inside of a craft, to me, is an expert. You know what I'm saying? And so I was like, cool, I could utilize my, my cousin's expert knowledge, and we can partner up and do something together. And so that's where, and he has a lot of high-end culinary experience.
Nice.
So that's where you get a chance to see the food. It don't look like normal meal prep, because it's not. It's basically like gourmet food in a container.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then on top of that, we got so many textures. It's so many different flavors. We do sauces. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't your boring, tofu, rice, and broccoli. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff that got love in it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, it was just the perfect bam. You know what I'm saying? And so we've been doing that. We've been lucky that we've been having, a consistent client base. And, people have been, enjoying the food. So we've been getting really good feedback. So, I'm just excited for the whole thing, because, especially right now during the whole pandemic thing, a lot of people are not taking care of themselves like they should. A lot of people are not eating healthy. And that's even like just a little personal thing for me on my personal side. When this all happened, I was like, I'm about to get myself in some really good shape. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to be the person to say, oh, I gained 15 pounds when it happened. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in further health risk. You know what I mean? Like obesity is a health risk. And so, and it's actually a condition. It's a chronic condition. And most people don't look at it like that. And so at the end of the day, once we have the right amount of body fat on our body, then our body functions properly. You know, and so to circle it back around to the meal prep is a good way to get high nutrient dense foods. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, like, it was a person that was like, oh, you know, the portions aren't really big. And I'm gonna tap into this real quick, because a lot of people think you're supposed to eat really large portions of stuff. And in actuality, once what we talked about earlier about as you get older, your need for food is less. You know what I'm saying? And so now what you want to do is you want to get the high nutrient dense foods. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's why sometimes you do want to eat a lot of stuff raw.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's the highest of nutrient density.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I was going to ask about that, about the portion sizes. Like, is every meal like a 1 to 2 serving? It sounds like it's specific for the person that is ordering it, specific for the person that's eating it. Right?
It's definitely about 2 servings, but I think the problem is in America, especially even in the meal prep industry, like they'll give you a big ass container of rice. Sorry for cussing.
Okay. That's okay. It's YouTube. It's all good.
Okay. All right. That's cool. They give you a big ass container of rice and then broccoli and some other protein. And the majority of your stuff is rice. So of course you're going to get full, you know what I'm saying? But I tell you this, being full off vegetables is a different thing, because what happens is it actually triggers your sensors in your stomach to let you know when to stop eating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know that.
No, and I didn't know that. I just know that well, it makes sense now that you've said that. Because, when I eat vegetables and I'm full, I'm not like, overly full that I just want to sit down. Right. Yeah. That makes total sense.
And so that's the thing. Like, a lot of times people don't know that you're supposed to eat just enough to get you to the next meal. You know what I mean? And so it was interesting. One of our clients, she was like, yeah, the portion sizes weren't that big, but she was like, as I start eating it, I started realizing that I needed less.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, because them vegetables kicked in. Now, side note, I also have a certification in sports nutrition and sports nutrition elite through the Matthew Kinney Culinary Institute.
Wow.
And what happened was, when I did that, those were like high performing, the meal style was based off of high performance, and it was high net gain nutrition. You know what I'm saying? And so I actually had to, when I did that program, I actually had to do it. And then I had to cook the food for myself. So I had to go grocery shopping. I had to do all that stuff on my own. And the one thing that I started to notice was the food, because we had like 3 meals that we had to eat per day. And the one thing that I started noticing is, by eating so many vegetables, I didn't have any sugar cravings.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like sugar cravings went away, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Nice.
And so it's such a science in eating more vegetables, even from the fiber standpoint. You know what I'm saying? That's why for me, I eat a lot of fruit. You know what I'm saying? And it's just strictly because you just need stuff to clean out your intestines. And my grandpa, rest in peace to my grandpa, he passed away December 29th of 2019. And, like, I call him my fairy grandfather, because when I met him 2 years before he passed away. He passed away at 89, which was interesting. And then I learned about him and my grandma, which would have been his wife, passed away at 64. And you know what I'm saying, she passed away of colon cancer. And it's just like, when you finally get first of all, I thought my grandfather was dead, because I never heard anything about him, right? And then when I finally found him, I found out that he was like I'll never forget this. I never walked in anybody's room and looked around it was like a 12 by 12 room, and it was just full of degrees, like certifications, and like he had his master's in mathematics. He had like iridology, herbology, naturopathic medicine. It was just so many certifications. It was all around his walls.
Wow.
And I was just like I compare it to like the the martial arts movies where
Yeah.
the student is looking for the master, and then he find the master, and then the master just boosts him up all the game.
That's right.
You know, that's kind of how that was for me, and then it really let me know that I'm going in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're the same. We're both cancers. So, you know what I'm saying? It was just a whole bunch of similarities. It's like when we got together, it was kind of like a, you
Yeah.
like this too? I like this too. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he was like, I'm impressed with your knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So
Nice.
as much as I wish I had more time with my grandpa, you know, the stuff that he taught me and that I learned from him is invaluable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, to circle that back around to longevity and you know, portion size. Oh, that's what I was getting to. The one thing that the wisdom that he imparted on me was he told me that your three most important organs in your body, all of them are important, but your three most important are your liver, your kidneys, and your intestines.
Oh, okay.
And he said once you have any problems with any of those, it's a possibility that you might check out.
Wow.
You know, and so all of the stuff that we do should, and it makes sense because like if you can't absorb food, that's how people die, is problems with their colon. Colon is responsible for absorption of all your nutrients. You know, your liver is your filter, your kidneys are your filter, your liver regulate hella shit. You know what I'm saying? Like if people, like I encourage everybody that's watching this, pull up how the kidneys function and just look at it. It's so crazy. Like, you know, I kind of nerd off on that stuff, but
that's fine.
It's so crazy how the kidney can magically teleport blood from one vessel to another vessel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many amazing things that our bodies do. And, you know, at the end of the day, we just need to take proper care of our bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just like nature, right? Nature knows what they're supposed to do. And so does your body, right? Your body's designed and knows what it's supposed to do if you feed it the right thing. So with the menu items that you have, you mentioned in a phone call that it's like farm to table. So let's talk. Talk to us about some of the ingredients that you have.
Definitely. So all of the stuff that we use is definitely sustainable and organic when possible. You know, we just try to give people the cleanest stuff and the highest quality stuff. And for me, I've always liked farmers market vegetables. You know what I mean? Like, because I think, you know, we could get into a habit of going to the grocery store, but at the end of the day, I feel like we're not really supporting local economy with that. And the reason, and sometimes, you know, you got chains that do buy from local vendors, but, you know, I feel like when you get too big, that the quality sometimes goes down. You know, and you want to get stuff that's as close to you as possible, you know? And so that's kind of why we adopted the philosophy of just hitting up the farmers markets and getting food that's fresh. The colors are always vibrant. You know what I'm saying? And I think honestly, it just tastes better.
Yeah.
You know, a tomato that's 40 miles away is going to taste different than a tomato that's 200 miles away or 300 or 3,000 miles away.
For sure. So how can people? So I saw on the menu there were options in pricing.
It's $220 for 15 meals. And $150 for 10 meals.
Okay.
So so basically, if a person was looking to order, the only thing, we're actually working on our website, so the website will be up soon to kind of like, you know, right now we doing guerrilla stuff, so you know we kind of like getting it how we get it. But for somebody that wanted to order, the only thing you gotta do is when the website is up, go to the website. You get all 10 meals. And the reason why we do that is purposeful, is to give you a variety. You know what I mean? It's to push you outside of your comfort zone. And the food is just so delicious. Sometimes you just got to eat something that you ain't never ate before.
Yeah.
You know, and give your taste buds a wide variety.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't box yourself in to a certain way of eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's certain things that, you know, that chef put me on. Shout out to Chef Imani Greer. It's certain things that, you know, chef put me on that, you know, I normally wouldn't eat, but I tried it anyway. And I was like, hey, this tastes pretty good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or it's a certain way he might do a vegetable. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's the biggest thing. Like for people that are like, oh, I don't like vegetables. I say you can never say that you don't like something because you never had it in all different type of ways.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's so many different ways to make vegetables that you might not like them steamed, but you might like them sauteed.
Right. Right.
You know, like that's it. So yeah, so basically to sum it up, you place an order, you figure out how many meals you want. You can send the money in via Cash App or Venmo. You'll get a confirmation after that. We'll let you know, like, oh, make sure if you're watching this, make sure that you get in contact with either with me personally. My Instagram handle is plantbfitness.com. So therefore I can confirm it because we have had people that ordered that we didn't know. And was like, hey, we need to be able to contact you. Pickup is 1:00 on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
So
And tell us where that's located.
On 2706 Park Boulevard, Oakland, California, 94606. And just we do have an order deadline because we need to know who we shopping for. So orders do need to be in by 12 p.m. on Saturday. And that's for Monday pickup.
Perfect. Perfect. And so, all of this, like you said, takes a lot of work. So tell us about the team that makes this happen.
Yeah, so basically I got Chef Imani Greer, 20 years expert chef, high-end culinary experience. We got Coach Bree, she's health educator, trainer as well. You know what I mean? Like we've all been doing what we've been doing for at least 5 years or greater. So, for me, I'm a big collaborator. You know what I mean? Like if it's the right team and it's the right fit and the right energy, you could do a lot of things. So, and then you got myself, Coach G. I've been plant-based for 11 years. I've been a trainer since 2015. Studying for I'm studying for my PhD in holistic health sports nutrition. It's just everybody fits in that perfect element. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just excited that both of them have decided, you know what I'm saying, to see the vision and help execute the vision. You know what I'm saying? So
sounds
yeah,
like
that's
a power team for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And and we had some things that we were working on. We got some great things coming up.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of different ideas that you get when you get good people in the room. So, we got some really powerful stuff coming up. And we've been looking at working with doctors and stuff like that. Because I know they have certain things where people could get food as a prescription now. So and eventually, like long term, I definitely would mind having a healing center. You know what I'm saying? Just like a place where people could go to heal themselves,
Right.
detox, get their body right. So yeah, but that's just that's some stuff in the future. I'm just speaking it into existence right now.
For sure. And when it does come into existence, we'll have you back on to talk about it. So there were a couple of other things that we talked about that's happening. There's I think there was a restaurant and also some educational cooking classes.
Yeah, so the one thing is, like, we got to take it one step at a time. Right now the meal prep was the top priority, and we're still working on solidifying that and getting that, getting it its legs. It's actually, it has its legs right now, but you know how it is when you're trying to grow something.
Yeah.
It just takes time.
Right.
And then we did have an idea concept of a restaurant that we were going to do that incorporated, raw food and some cooked food too as well. Right, I can't give up too many details on that because we still kind of we're still kind of etching that out. So I don't want to put too much out there about it, but just know that concept is one that we are definitely working with. And then the educational cooking classes is something that we were thinking about too as an idea, because it's a lot of people that come to us and they want to know how to cook more plant-based food. And the first thing I hear people talk about is it flavorful? And I just tell them, I'm black and I got soul, so everything you get from me is gonna be flavor. But I think that's a lot of people's concerns, is that they like, oh, is it bland?
Right.
And so that's one thing too, is just like I feel like the love makes it never bland.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you're cooking with that love, it's always gonna be flavorful.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we actually gonna be doing a class on spices.
Nice.
Yeah, on cooking with spices.
Okay.
And that, I think that's gonna be definitely a workshop that we might continue to do, because I feel like it puts people up on the knowledge of understanding herbs. Because I think for
Yeah.
any of my people that are carnivore, that consider themselves carnivores, the only thing that make the meat taste good is the spices that you put on it.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, then the spices is where we need to draw our attention to make anything flavorful.
Yeah. Great
Yeah.
point. Great point for sure. Well, lots of great things coming up, and I really appreciate you being here on the show to talk about all of that. So if, like you mentioned, if anyone wants to get in touch with you, I'll go ahead and put your Instagram handle down below. Is there any other way for them to get in touch with you, or is that the best way?
Usually I think the Instagram has been the best one.
Okay.
Instagram is probably the best way for right now.
Okay.
Or they can go through my website, www.plantbfitness.com. So
Okay.
those are the two ways that people can reach me. So you can either do it on or any social media platform that I'm on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. So I'll put all the socials down below, and you guys, if you guys aren't following Gary yet, go ahead and follow him on Instagram and get your meals ordered.
Yeah, go ahead and smash that follow button, y'all.
There you go. Thank you so much, Gary. Appreciate your time.
All right, no problem, Sonnia.